Okay, it's just before 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday. A very chilly, brisk morning. We're going to make us another fire and fix us that big breakfast I've been teasing you with. We're going to, first off, I got to gather some firewood for it, and then I'm going to make me some coffee right after that on the propane stove. I think I've called it a couple times a butane stove. I don't know why I was doing that. It is, of course, a propane stove. And then we're going to build us another fire. There's the dead fire from last night. There's the burnt out fire, totally dead from last night. And we're going to get us a rip-roaring fire for breakfast because we got a big breakfast. So for breakfast, we're going to have fried eggs, Gouda, bacon, sausage gravy, grits, and pancakes. Quite a breakfast. So just because you're out camping in the wilderness doesn't mean you can't eat good. So I'm not going to record building the fire this morning. I've already shown that a couple times, so it's just a repeat. So I'm going to pause the video and get the fire going, and then we'll be back when we are ready to start cooking some food. Okay? See ya. Okay, we got our fire going. It's lit up very nicely, and it's starting to burn down into embers, which is what we need to cook our hearty breakfast this morning. We're going to flip over here. There we go. I think you can see me. Okay, hopefully you can see my head, all of my head now, and my hat. I was reviewing some of the videos I took yesterday, and I noticed that in just about all of them, the top of my head was cut off in the camera view. You know, I'm not I haven't done a lot of videography, so this is really actually the first major thing I've ever done with video. I've always just been a still photographer. I just got done recording about 10 minutes worth of talk. Well, actually, I didn't record it. I did 10 minutes worth of talk, and then I went over to the camera and realized I never hit the record button. So here I am going to repeat at least some of what I was saying to nobody but myself for 10 minutes. I was showing you how I had made some coffee. I heated up, boiled some water on the propane stove. And that is a propane stove. I noticed yesterday I said a couple times that it was butane. I don't know why I said that, but it is a propane stove. And I like instant coffee. I mean, I don't use it on a regular basis. I brew fresh brewed actual coffee in a coffee maker at home. But once in a while, if I'm in a hurry, I will whip out the instant coffee to make me a real quick cup. But I know most people, I think, don't like the taste of instant coffee, but I guess I'm strange that I actually like the taste of instant coffee. So, I don't know. Then I put in a teaspoon of instant coffee, a teaspoon of Splenda, and for creamer, about 2 teaspoons of coffee mix. And we've got this delicious coffee in my camp mug. I'm going to take a sip now. That's good, and it hits the spot. I checked the thermometer on my truck at 7 o'clock this morning, and it was 42 degrees and quite chilly. And usually the coldest part of the night is 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm sure it was probably at least a couple degrees cooler than that at 3 or 4 in the morning. But like I said, I have really good sleeping gear, a nice sleeping bag and a blanket and pillow, and I managed to stay quite warm, except when I turned over and things and exposed my face or what to the cold air, and I realized how cold it is. I think I had some animal visitors 2 nights ago. I'm positive I did. I'd left my garbage bag out, but there really wasn't much in it. All I had that 2 nights ago was a hamburger and brats. And so the only thing that was in the garbage bag was the wrappers for the meat, and then a styrofoam plate which just had meat grease on it, and a couple of used paper towels. And when I left it out overnight, I thought, well, there's really nothing in here. No animal's going to go for that. Well, sure enough, they did, because yesterday morning when I got up, my garbage bag had been dug into and the garbage pulled out of it. So I had some kind of animal visitor 2 nights ago, but I never heard anything. So I don't know what kind of animal it was. Last night was interesting because at one point there was a really, really loud bang. And I was hearing noises all night, and I think it might have been leaves falling from these trees all around, making noises, and then maybe a slight wind rustling things around. But it just kept me on alert all the time, and especially I kind of got goosebumps actually when I heard that loud bang, and man, I jumped up out of my mattress, out of my sleeping bag, and actually got my gun and put it beside my sleeping bag because I wasn't sure what was going on. But I think when I got out this morning, I thought maybe an animal got up here on the picnic table and knocked my camp stove over, because that's what it kind of sounded like. It sounded like metal. But when I got up this morning, my camp stove was right there where I left it, so that wasn't it. And I didn't see anything else disturbed. So I'm thinking it was a tree branch from these tall trees here. And I think you can see it in this camera shot, or maybe you can't, but some of the videos I took yesterday, I know it was in the shot. There's I suppose it's a deer blind for hunting. It's a sheet metal shack with glass windows. And I'm thinking a branch fell down from the tree and slammed on that sheet metal shack, and it made a really loud bang, and so it startled me. But all is well. Nothing happened during the night. Again, a nice peaceful night. No visitors that I'm aware of, human visitors. Nobody drives up here. This is in the farthest corner of the lady's property, and I'm going to include the dash cam from my truck showing the drive up here. A really steep hill you got to climb to get up and back here. And nobody's going to really come back here. And she was right, in the documentation it said it requires a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get here. And it certainly did. I had to put my truck in 4-wheel drive to make it here. Okay, I'm looking at the fire, and I see that it's starting to burn down to embers. And I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a while. I started the fire early. I started gathering wood at 7 o'clock because I knew I was going to have to let this burn down quite a long while in order to get a good bed of embers to cook on. This major breakfast I'm making. I'm going to be using a griddle, a cast iron griddle, and also that same grate that I used yesterday that you saw me cook my steak on. And so I'm going to need a really big bed of coals for that. And so we're going to let it burn a while. So it's going to be a little while before I start cooking. And so I'll shut off the camera, and we'll turn it back on when it gets time to start cooking. Okay? Here's a sip of coffee. That's good. And we'll be back later. Okay, what we're going to do first is make the sausage gravy, because that's the most labor intensive. So to make sure I have enough grease to make the gravy, I'm going to add just a little bit of oil here. cast iron skillet that I'm going to break up some sausage in there. And it's starting to sizzle. Oh, look at that. There, lost a piece to the animals. Okay. That's a goodly amount of sausage. We're going to let that sizzle. All right. Add the sizzling away. Use my fork to break up the sausage a little better. Of course, some sausage gravy uses really small, fine pieces like hamburger. But I like it on the chunky side. You know, you take a bite of gravy and you got the gravy, and you got a big hunk of sausage to go with it. Okay, that's going to produce plenty of grease. I put a little bit too much oil in it, but that's fine, because at least it's better to have too much than not enough. Okay. Okay, and enough grease has come out of that, so I'm going to add the flour now. Okay, we got some flour. Just going to pour that in there. You know, gravy's an interesting thing. A lot of people don't know how to make it. And when you see it made, you think, man, that's a big, gigantic mess you're making there. But it all comes together. Okay, that should be plenty, if not too much flour. We're just making a small amount of gravy for me. I'm only cooking for one. And that's difficult a lot of times, cooking for one. All right. Got my tablespoon. I'm going to stir this up. Oh yeah, there's way too much grease in there. Oh well. I think I'll add a little bit more flour. It's a little more difficult in your measurements when you're cooking out in the woods on an open fire. Sometimes well, in fact, most of the times you're just guesstimating. Okay, let's stir that up. Okay. Now we're going to add our milk. And the milk is where you guesstimate. It's better to start off with not enough, and then you can add more later rather than have too much. So we're going to do that. We're going to add some salt. And we're going to add some black pepper. Oh yeah, I love black pepper. And we're going to let this come to a boil while stirring. so it doesn't burn and scorch on the bottom of the skillet. And I'm going to move this to a little bit of a cooler spot because I'm afraid that fire is a little too hot for the gravy. We'll move it right there. And it's starting to boil already. Yeah, it's starting to boil already, so I'm going to move it to a cool spot. There, and you can see how the gravy's coming together now. It goes from a huge mess to a beautiful skillet of gravy. And I'm checking the thickness. So far it's pretty good. I don't think I need to add any more milk right now. I might at the end though. We'll see. Yeah. Some people like thin gravy, some people like thick gravy. I like a semi-thick gravy. Okay. Let's turn this that way. There we go. There we go. You know what? That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to call that done. I'm going to put a little bit in my spoon to taste it for seasoning. And we're going to take this off the fire, put it aside, and start cooking the rest of the stuff. Okay, let's taste this. Oh yeah, that's good. Good gravy. Okay, what am I going to do next? I think I'm going to go ahead and put the grits on and cook the grits. Okay, so to start out with my grits, I got my trusty little camp pot on the fire. And as I said, when it comes to camping, a lot of times everything is just guesstimate. So I'm going to, just from my experience in making grits, you know, before, I've made a lot of grits over the years. I'm going to pour some water in here. Okay, a little bit of water, measured just right. And I'm going to then add some grits. There, perfect. Stir that up. And we're going to let that come to a boil and see how it does. Grits, of course, need some salt and pepper. So there goes the pepper. Just a little bit of salt. There we go. Maybe a little more. That'll do it. Then when it's done, I'll add some butter. Let's stir this up. See if I got enough grits in there for the water I put in. And it's starting to boil already. You probably can't see it, but you can see the steam coming up out of the pot. I might need to add some more grits to it, but we'll see how it puffs up. I think I put enough water in for 2. But if you have experience in cooking, you can always turn a disaster into something edible. Okay, that's boiling hard. I'm going to move it to a little cooler spot here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need some more grits. So I'm going to go add that right now. That ought to do it. Good enough. Good enough for a camping trip. Okay. I like all of my grain stuff, like oatmeal, cream of wheat, grits. I like all that stuff really thick. Some people like it runny where you have to use a spoon and eat it like soup. I don't like it that way. I like being able to pick it up with a fork, turn it upside down, and it still sticks on the fork. Oh yeah, this is turning out nicely. I gotta put that in a cool spot now. Put it back over the heat a little bit. And it's almost time for the main course, the eggs, bacon, and Gouda. That's one thing when you're cooking over an open fire, you're always moving things from a hot spot to a cool spot. And you can see the consistency here. It's starting to thicken up, and as it sits, it's going to thicken up even more. Okay. Time for a little butter. And to make it easy, I just brought some butter spread. And we're going to add that in. Stir it up, let it melt. Then I'm going to get my gloves and take this off the fire. Okay, that'll do it. Okay, there's the grits, if you can see it better. I'm not sure what you can see. I don't have a cameraman. I'm the cameraman and the actor. So there's the grits. So the sausage gravy's done, the grits are done. And I'm going to change this grate. I'm going to change this grate out to a griddle to make the rest of our food, the eggs, bacon, Gouda, and pancakes. So I'm going to turn the camera off a while and prepare for all of that. Okay, we're back. I got the griddle on, and it should be hot because it's been on for a couple minutes. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 half slices of bacon. Yeah, it's hot because it started sizzling right away. If I can get these pieces separated. There's 2. 3 and 4. And I got a couple pieces of Gouda. But I got to add a little oil so I'm not cooking it on a dry griddle there. But you don't want to put too much on because anybody that cooks Goetta knows that it pops. And there's my Goetta. All right, let's press down this bacon here. Turn it over. And no, that's not done yet. Ooh, that one's in a hot fire. Let's move these up. Looks like the hot spot's right up here. There we go. Let's move the Goetta down. Move everything close to the hot spot of the fire. Okay, just let that sizzle a while. Okay, and you might have heard me off camera. I'm reheating the grits and sausage gravy on the propane stove, so it'll be nice and hot when everything else is ready. And looks like that side of the bacon is nice and done just right. And let's try flipping the Goetta. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice and brown. Okay. All right. Everything's turning out nicely. All we have left is the pancakes. Oh, and the egg. Okay, I'd say this is done. Flip it over. Yeah, that's done. And my Goetta should be done. Yeah, that's good. Yep, just the way I like it. Well, my grease ran down to the bottom, so we're not level. I'm going to go ahead and make the egg. Okay, grease up on there. Let's see if we can flip it. Oh yeah, nice. I wasn't sure how the egg would work out on this camp griddle, but if it would stick or tear up on me trying to flip it. But it worked out pretty nicely. Throw some grease up there on it. I like my eggs cooked over medium. So actually, I'm going to flip it back over one more time because I can see that this top side isn't quite done the way I like it. Okay, let's flip it one more time. Beautiful. Throw some grease up there on it. Get ready to throw it on our camp plate here. I really like these old style. I guess it's aluminum, but it's porcelain coated with that blue and white, which kind of takes you back in years to old camping equipment. I got a whole set. I got plates, bowls, cups, and even a old-fashioned percolator coffee pot that matches this set here. And this egg should be done. Look at that. Beautiful. All we got left are the pancakes. Okay. Hungry Jack Complete Buttermilk Pancake Mix. Some milk. You can use water, but I like it with milk. Just tastes better than just plain old water. Speaking of that set, here's the bowl. The blue with the white speckles. I'm going to add a little butter to that, butter. That grill's looking like it's pretty darn hot. Let's see how this sizzles up. Yeah. Okay, we're going to add some pancake mix to our bowl. That should be fine. Add a little milk. Let's see. Stir it up. Uh-oh, what I got there? And of course, too much milk, so I'm going to have to add some more pancake mix. Okay, that ought to do it. Stir this up real quick before my butter burns. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. Nice pancake mix here. A little bit thin, but I don't want to wind up making 4 or 5 pancakes. All right. Oh. Okay, let's get this butter and grease up here. Okay. And we got enough for a third one. I'll end up making 3 pancakes. Splashing it all around there. Okay, very good. Let's put this up. Let's take a peek and see how we're doing here. Oh yeah. Look at that. A little bit crusty there. sometimes crust is good. Whoops, that one didn't cook long enough. And that one's just about right. Pat them down a little bit here. Oh yeah. Okay. We're almost done and almost ready to eat. Finally, this delicious. How many courses is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-item breakfast. 7 if you count the coffee. Let's see how we're doing. Let's cook that side a little longer. Oh, that one's perfect. Let's move this one up in the heat there. This one's done. Let's throw some grease up in there. Grease never hurt anyone, did it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're going. One side doesn't want to cook, does it? This one, I'm going to call this one done. Let's see. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Good enough for a camping trip. Okay, and we're going to call that one done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop the recording, adjust the camera over towards the picnic table so you can see me start to eat this. Okay, I really worked up a sweat. I had that coat on, wasn't even thinking about it. I am soaking wet with sweat, so I'm going to, after I eat, I'm going to have to change my shirt before I even head out this morning. But that's okay. I brought plenty of clothes. So here's the breakfast. Egg, geta, bacon. There's my pancakes, my coffee. Let's get us some, where'd my tablespoon go? I misplaced my tablespoon. Here it is. In the pancake mix. I'm going to have to wash that off. We don't want to eat raw pancake mix. So we'll just wash that bad boy off. There we go. All right, perfectly clean. Get that off my hands. Okay. We're going to get us some grits here. And they did thicken up like I told you they would, and that's just how I like them. So we're going to get us a couple spoonfuls of grits. Here's what I'm going to do with the sausage gravy. I'm going to take half of this pancake, break it up, and pour the sausage gravy on top of the pancake. And you can see the gravy thickened up as well. Everything always thickens up. And we'll put that right on top. Make sure I get some of those big hunks of sausage. And look at this breakfast. I hope you can see that in the camera. Okay, let's taste. I will taste it for you. Fork. Let's cut up my egg. There we go. Okay, bite of egg, bite of sausage, gravy, and pancake. That was grits, actually. Oh, man. Bite of bacon. Oh. And finally, the Cincinnati favorite, the bite of Gouda. Man, oh man, I'm telling you, I think this breakfast is probably better than my T-bone steak last night. This is so good. Well, you've been sharing my adventure in my cooking, and hope you've been enjoying it. After I get done with breakfast and clean up and everything, I've got a couple hiking trails to go to, so I'll be recording more videos of the sights and scenery and sounds and so forth that are on those hiking trails. I'm going to see another cave. And I saw Ash Cave yesterday. Today I'm going to see Old Man's Cave. And then what's the name of the waterfall? There's a famous waterfall, and the name of it slips my mind off the top of my head here. But I think we're going to have some good scenery to look at this afternoon. And stay tuned and join me on my excursion. Okay, I'm going to eat my breakfast. We'll talk to you later. See ya. Okay, just one final thing. I got to show you me taking a bite of the pancakes and syrup now. I finished all the other courses of that meal, and I am stuffed. I'm really not hungry, to eat the pancake, but sometimes you just have to force yourself. So, at home I like real maple syrup. The stuff's really expensive, but it's so much better than this artificial stuff. But for the purposes of this camp out, I just brought along some old-fashioned log cabin syrup to put on it. And so we'll open that up and put some on. I had 2.5 pancakes left, but I'm only going to force myself to eat one. I like lots of syrup. I don't like to skimp on anything, as you can tell. Okay, that ought to do it. And the only bad thing about being by yourself and doing all this cooking is all of the cleanup afterwards. It took me quite a while to clean up after my steak dinner last night. And looking at this table, it's going to take quite a while to clean up after this breakfast. And I've got one more big meal to do. That's tonight for supper. I'm going to fix pork steak. So I had T-bone beef steak last night, and then I'm going to have pork steak tonight. I probably won't go as far out as I did last night, though, with all the vegetables and everything, because I'm starting to get a little tired. And so I will fix the pork steak, but I'll probably try to go a little easier on the rest of the stuff. Give myself a little bit of a break and don't have so much to clean up either. So let's go ahead and try this pancake. I'll take a bite for you. I like totally breaking my pancake up so that the syrup soaks in and saturates. There we go. Now let's stir that all up. Oh, look at that. The only problem, it's been sitting here so long it's cold. I like really hot and warm pancakes. But there we go. Let's give it a try. That is good. Buttermilk pancakes, maple syrup, cooked just right, soft and fluffy, and it tastes good. I'm glad you could share this with me. Okay. Get a sip of coffee. Okay, I'm going to turn the video off now, finish my pancake, and then clean up, rest a while, and then go on my hiking trips.